The U.S. and Ukraine are organizing new working-level talks after U.S. President Donald Trump suspended military and intelligence support for Ukraine. Will the two sides be able to make up for the Trump-Zelenskyy bust-up last week? Let's turn to Professor Chen this morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. In a letter from Zelensky to Trump, Zelensky said he is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring what he calls a lasting peace closer. Would you say Trump's threat to halt military aid and now intelligence supports worked here?
Yes, I think so. His threat to stop military aid put a lot of pressure on Ukraine. So if his goal is to push Ukraine into negotiating table, then yes, it worked a lot. But this does not mean Ukraine is negotiating because it fully agrees with Donald Trump. It may have no other choice. So Ukraine is now in a very difficult position. The United States has been Ukraine's biggest supporter, giving over $75 billion in military aid, including Javelin, Patriot missile, and Abrams tanks. So without this support, Ukraine is unable to defend itself. So recently, the U.S. aid has been slowed down, causing some shortages of important weapons. At the same time, Russia is getting stronger, increasing its troops and also producing more weapons. So with fewer options and more pressure on the battlefield and also from Donald Trump, Ukraine has no other options but to negotiate. And Donald Trump, instead of giving military support, he is focusing on economic deal like the mineral agreement. And this could bring U.S. investment, but without stronger military protection. And in this situation, Ukraine may still be at the risk of a future Russian attack. So while stopping military aid, it worked. So it forced Ukraine to negotiate. However, it is still unclear whether this will lead to lasting and also real peace to Ukraine.
Well, that's why European nations are skeptical about. Now, are you saying Zelensky thinks signing a minerals deal is the best bet for his country for now? Yes,
Zelensky is in a difficult position now. So with the U.S. military aid stopped and limited help from Europe, he has few other choices. So his top goal is protect Ukraine's independence and get stronger security guarantee from the United States. But right now, the United States is focusing more on economic deal rather than military support. So signing the mineral deal may not be what Zelensky really wants. So, but it might be the only way to maintain the American participation and involvement in this war, and also to avoid the complete isolation. So this deal allows American companies to invest in Ukraine's natural resources, and Trump argues that this investment will stop Russia from attacking again in the future. But I think without clear security promise, this deal alone will not fully protect Ukraine. So this is the only option Ukraine Zelensky has right now, but I don't think it is the best option.
Well, Professor Choi, I'd like to talk about how Ukrainians feel about this whole minerals deal. Zelensky says that nobody wants peace more than Ukrainians. Will Ukrainians be happy once a deal is secured then?
Okay, so the mineral deal may be necessary for Ukraine at this moment, but it's unlikely to make Ukrainians really happy. What Ukrainians really want is a real security, a stable future, and the total restoration of its independence. However, the current situation makes achieving these goals very difficult. So right now, Ukraine is under extreme pressure. The mineral deal may help Ukraine economy and also keep U.S. involvement, but it does not guarantee security or prevent future Russian attack. So many Ukrainians will see this as a compromise made out of necessity, not a true victory. For peace to be meaningful, the Ukrainians need more than economic deal. They need real protection and a clear plan to rebuild their country after the end of the war. So without that, this deal alone will not bring real satisfaction or peace of mind to the Ukrainian people.
Well, some reports say that the U.S. and Ukraine may sign the minerals deal in the coming week, next week. What next in line after the much debated minerals deal is sealed then? I mean, what moves will Trump make to bring peace to Ukraine?
If the mineral deal is finalized, Trump's next move will likely be pushing for a quick peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. But its focus seems to be on making a quick deal, rather than ensuring real and lasting peace. So Trump has already said he's open to direct talk with Vladimir Putin and claims that Russia is now ready to negotiate with the United States. So he might try to secure a ceasefire without forcing Russia to withdraw from its occupied land. And if Ukraine is pressured to accept a deal where Russia keeps its force in its occupied territory, Ukraine could remain at risk of a future Russian attack. And at the same time, Trump may continue reducing American military presence in Ukraine while telling European countries to take more responsibility. The Trump has already criticized Europe for not doing enough to protect Ukraine, even though European countries do not have enough military power to fully replace America. So it seems to me that Trump's goal is to ending the war in a way that benefits American economic interests without avoiding long-term security commitments. So this is truly Trump style. But the big question is whether this will bring real stability or just freeze the conflict, leaving Ukraine in a weaker position.
So you mentioned there'll be a peace signing process afterwards. Now, does that include Ukraine's involvement in the peacemaking talks?
I think Ukraine will probably invite it to peace talk, and they will have a chair in this process. But the main concern is whether Ukraine will have much influence during this negotiation process. So far, most negotiations have been between the United States and Russia, and Ukraine has been forced to accept decisions made by other great powers. So if the United States push for a quick ceasefire without protecting Ukraine's sovereignty and complete security, the peace talk could become a deal decided by others rather than a fair negotiation involving Ukraine. So Zelensky has always emphasized that Ukraine must be actively involved and no agreement can be accepted without its approval. However, the United States military aid stopped and limited help from Europe. Ukraine does not have much power to resist this pressure from the United States and also Russia. If peace talks happen under this condition, Russia may get more of what it wants from Ukraine. So while Ukraine will likely be at the table, I don't expect it will have a real say during the negotiation process. So it is more likely that Ukraine will be forced to accept terms decided by two great powers. I'm really sorry I cannot bring more positive news today.
Alrighty, Professor Choi, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.